Welcome to the second part of the BRINDA tutorial. In this tutorial, I will walk through an example of how to apply the BRINDA adjustment in SAS. First, let's download the sample dataset, sample macro, and sample program from the BRINDA website. Under the BRINDA Approach tab, and you can see these three files: sample dataset, sample macro, and sample program. Let's right-click and save these three files. I will just save them on desktop. Do the same thing to the other two files. They are macro and program respectively. Okay, now I have these three files on my desktop. First, let's open the macro.pdf and select all, copy. Now open a SAS and just paste it here and click File, Save As. I will still save the program on my desktop. Let's name it as macro_PSC, standing for preschool children. And you can just close the program and click File, open a new program to open a new editor. That's for the program code. Do the same thing to the program PDF. Let's open the PDF, named as program, and select all, copy and paste it to the SAS editor. Okay, let's save it. Now we will actually use this program to call the macro. So the BRINDA team has developed various macro for different populations, such as preschool children and women of reproductive age. And also, there are different macros for CIP only, AGP only, or both CIP and AGP. Here, we will use the macro for preschool children, and it's used to apply BRINDA regression correction for both CIP and AGP for a given nutrition biomarker. Here we will use ferritin as our biomarker, since it's the only nutritional biomarker in the sample dataset. The first step is to associate a SAS library with a nickname. Here you can see my nickname is just called BRINDA. Since I saved my sample dataset on desktop, you can right-click the sample dataset, click Properties, and copy the location and paste it in the quotation marks. Let's choose this line and click the Running Man icon in the upper screen. Now let's import our dataset using Import Wizard. We can do this by clicking the File and Import Data. In the drop-down menu, select CSV and click Next. Click Browse, find where you store your sample dataset that is downloaded from the BRINDA website. Click Open and click Next. Let's give the temporary dataset a name as temp. Click Finish. Let's make sure the dataset is imported correctly. To do this, we can run a contents procedure. So our dataset name is temp. Just insert whatever your dataset name is and select this line. Click the running main icon in the upper screen again. Now we can see this simple dataset has 4 variables: AGP, CIP, original ID, and serum ferritin. Now let's save the temporary dataset as a permanent SAS dataset file. I will save it on my desktop, so we can simply write data step. And remember, our dataset name is temp. Okay, let's run this chunk of code. Click the running main icon in the upper screen. Check the log file. There is no warning, so it's a good thing. Let's go back to my desktop. We can see there is a new SAS data file created. Next, I want to actually bring in the macro I saved previously. So in order to do this, I will need to use this line. Okay, so how can I do this? First, I go back to my desktop and I found my macro underscore PSC file and right-click Properties, find the location and copy this location. Okay, go back to SAS and paste it into the quotation marks and add a slash. Then we need to paste the macro's name, which is macro underscore PSC. Let's go back to SAS. Copy it after the slash. And add dot SAS. Select this line, click the running main icon. That's it. We have brought in the macro into our SAS now. So next steps is to supply input code after each equal sign in the macro called below. First, you can optionally label your output. I will name my output as BRINDA regression correction. The second thing you need to specify is your research data library. Recall that I put everything on my desktop, so I would just copy and paste this file directory here. And the next one is the dataset's name. And I forget what my dataset is called, so let's go back to the desktop. Okay, so the SAS dataset name is sample underscore data. Let's copy this name and paste it after the equal sign of data in. Next one is the subject or say individual ID. And remember, we have run a contents procedure. So if you click the results viewer, you can see there is a variable called ORI underscore ID. we need to copy this variable name after equal sign of the ID. And set is the original ID, or to say individual or subject unique ID. Next, we need to specify the variable names for C-reactive protein and alpha-1 glycoprotein. From our procedure contents, we can see our CRP is just called CRP here. So just copy and place it here, do the same thing to AGP. And in our data set, we only have one nutrition biomarker, that is serum ferritin. So again, copy and paste the variable name after the equal sign. Finally, you can name your output data set to whatever you want. Here I will name my output data set as adjusted underscore ferritin underscore PSC, since I'm adjusting ferritin for both CRP and AGP in preschool children. Now let's select this chunk of code and click the Running Man. Okay, so in the results viewer window, we can see there are some plots and some tables. Finally, let's go back to the editor window and do a little quality checks. So my output dataset name is this. I will copy and paste it after equal sign of this data step. And this step will print out the first 5 observations. Click the Running Man, we can see a table like this. And the last column named SFADJPSC is what we want. That is the adjusted ferritin value. Thank you for watching the tutorial. If you have any question or need more information, please feel free to visit our website.